Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Lena and I'd like to talk to you today about a book by Emily St. John Mandel, Station 11. By the way, the tents that you can see are made with the help of uh, bed sheets from a hotel. I have never been to Canada, but I'm pretty sure that it rains there from time to time. So it was our February pick for the GoodReads book club. I will not entertain it. I'll leave all the links in the info box down below. As a rule, we choose a book with mixed reviews and try to see for ourselves what people can hate about this book or what people can like about this book. And Station 11 was our cheat pick. We both, Devin and I, wanted to read this book. And the only way we managed to sneak it in is because Steve Donahue disapproved of the writing style. He said it was full of cliches. So we managed to choose it. And I had a ton of fun. It was the first book that I read on my tablet with the help of an app. I'll write it down in the info box below. I was able to highlight, I was able to annotate. It was fun. Steve Donahue was right. It's a lot of fun to argue with the book, to argue with the author. So, unfortunately, I am not a native English speaker, so I couldn't really judge the prose, and I leave it to Devin. He has already made a video, and you probably have seen it. Actually, I need to concentrate. I need to seek out the possible cliches. So, and I don't read enough of contemporary fiction, so cliches don't annoy me yet. So I concentrated on other thing that Steve Donahue mentioned in one of his hauls. He said that when you read the prose and it's full of cliches, it almost certainly means that it also nothing else but scenes from the movies that the author, saw as a child. So I tried to dance from that. Station 11 is very much ready for a movie adaptation. Why? Because it's more likely than not was inspired by a movie, by, as I think, a TV series, and by a play. And because it was imagined and written as a sequence of scenes like a movie. But there is nothing wrong with that, because scenes are very well written, they're bright, they're colorful. That's what cliches are for, to make us to see more or less the same picture without doing much work. Everything that is missing from the book we add from our own experience, from our own background knowledge. And the book works because we have approximately the same background knowledge. So actually Emily St. John Mandel is enough to tell us that the road was jammed. We can imagine it right away. And there were dead people in the car. She uses actually a word skeletons. And we can imagine it right away, but our dead people will be moving and snapping their jaws. To tell the truth, there were too much characters for such a short book. And I felt like my friend has taken me with her at a New Year party if at her workplace and and is pointing out people to me. For some people, she doesn't even have a name, only possible occupation. It was a bit confusing. It actually made me a bit lazy because I knew that hardly any of those people were important. So I wasn't even trying to remember their names, if they had any. In the nutshell, the story takes place in Canada, and everything goes great, except for the fact that an old actor has a heart attack on stage and dies in front of the small girl. Then Georgian flu arrives on the plane, and several weeks later, 99.99% of population is dead. Then the water got cut off, and the electricity got cut off, and people had to leave big cities and find another place to live. And some 20 years ago, we follow um, a theater troupe and an orchestra, a group of people that are calling themselves traveling symphony. They travel from town to town and perform Shakespeare because survival is insufficient. That's actually a great idea. I liked it right away. But I had some major problems with the world building because I didn't feel like Emily St. John Mandel was interested in the world building, the world after the Georgian flu. She wasn't interested in telling us any particular story. I think the one thing that interested her the most was to show that all her main characters were connected, and she did it very neatly. From this point of view, the book was a success. But Steve Donahue forever ruined post-apocalypse books for me. When he said during one of his hauls, it's impossible to find which, that the earth after human being, without human beings, won't become a green heaven, but will most certainly become the hell, because all our nuclear power plants, all these nuclear reactors will finally go off, will blow off, and destroy everything. So when the water got cut off, when the electricity got cut off, my first thought was the cooling system on a nuclear power plant still working? Was the reactor or whatever was it overheating already? Who would be maintaining that? That's the first. Then Emily St. John Mandel ruined a book for me by skipping research. It might be that, or it might be the fact that our background knowledge is very much differ. With the very first thing when the actor is dying and a young man driven from the audience is trying to help him performing CPR, and another man from the audience comes to the stage, and he is a cardiologist, and he talks to Jivan and takes over. So Jivan is free and cardiologist is continued doing CPR. I don't believe it would happen that way, because performing CPR is very hard. You are getting tired quickly, you are feeling dizzy. So these two more or less skilled men, they would team up. One of them would be doing mouth to mouth and the other would continue pumping blood through the veins. That what would have happened, in my opinion. Next, the traveling symphony is performing Shakespeare outdoors in the evenings. And to outline the stage, to draw the stage, they use candles, 100 candles. It's actually a magnificent, very beautiful picture. But who makes these candles? I know that nowadays many people make candles. They buy supplies online. They probably use their microwave oven, and it's not cheap. What they use, what kind of material they use for making candles? Who makes them? What they trade these candles for? I don't think they actually accept or demand paying for the performance. I don't think they have actually money or worth any product to trade. Everybody and their mother burn candles, but nowhere in the book is mentioned such words as bees, honey, wax, and a person who actually makes candles. Well, next thing. We have to assume that the traveling symphony lives from hunt, support themselves with hunting, with fishing, and they, of course, hunt with bows and arrows. What kind of arrows? What kind of bows? Was these bows and arrows old, professionally made, things? Then I believe it. Then I believe that they can hunt, that they can kill with such bows and arrows. But if they made, wouldn't they be short of the arrows by now, after 20 years of using them. If they do, if they make the bows and arrows themselves, how do they do that? Where did they learn the technique? What do they use? I'm not sure that the bows and arrows they use are actually effective, efficient. And never in the book is used the word arrowhead. Never in the book is used a word blacksmith, although they are riding horses. They need to shoot them, right? Then my biggest problem of all, that's probably the one time when it's all about the difference in our background knowledge. A woman gets shot in the abdomen, and for me it means right away that this woman is not going to survive. She's going to die a slow and painful death, because in our abdomen are intesticles, and they are not empty unless you starve yourself for 3 or 4 days. So I'm not sure how you can miss it. And it, for me at least, it means infestation. It means decaying. It means death. Without antibiotics, it means death. So I was very, very much surprised when she wrote, "She'll be okay," he said, "provided it doesn't get infected. And there is no reason to think it will. Bullets are self-sterilizing. The heat of them. We were careful with alcohol. But you two should stay here for a few days." And another short quote, "At least the wound was fairly clean. A hole where the bullet had entered her abdomen. No exit wound. She'd lost some blood." What I disagree on this point. I just can't accept it. I'm sorry. Some things were sloppy. For example, instead of there were a small girl of about 12 years old and she wasn't speaking with her voice, with a girl's voice. She was speaking with the voice of the author of with the voice of grown-up women and educated women. And sometimes in the perfectly neutral conversation, there will follow some remark about how Christie wanted to help the woman speaking to her with a knife to her throat. It came from nowhere. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel the irritation. Then instead of creating the atmosphere, she would say that the voice of the man made Kristen, it's one of the main characters, feel afraid, made her want to run away. Those things I consider sloppy. But All in all, I like the book when I didn't actually thought about it. On the first reading, I liked it. What this book and Steve Donahue probably have taught me, that it's not enough to make something that works from first sight, that you need to do your research, that you need to question everything, that you need to make sure that everything is plausible, that everything works. And to tell you the truth, it would have been a dream for me, a dream come true for me before this book, to write a story that works. But now I understand that it's not enough. Now I understand that the background knowledge is differs, that you cannot rely on cliches so much, that you need to describe the scene. But that's where my major problem lies. How would you improve something that works? How would you add things to it and improve it instead of adding things to it and ruining the whole thing? Well, now I am a bit nervous. And I never in my life write a story that works. So I'm not judging Emily St. John Mandel, but I really, really wished that she did the research and she eliminated these small, sloppy things. All in all, I liked it. It wasn't bad. It was a short, easy and entertaining read. But it might have been something better. That's all. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.